Yeah, I closed that down. I shouldn't.
Steve, 47 years ago yesterday, I heard in at GAF.
Is that right? 47 years ago.
I started before they tested you, they just put a mirror under your nose, you fog it, you're in. You're on. Never be able to get on there.
Call the meeting to order. We're now live on YouTube. So we'll call the meeting to order at 4:30 PM. Let's look at the approval of the minutes of the July 20th, 23 regular meeting. Do I have a motion to approve? Any changes, deletions, corrections?
Motion to approve.
Okay, Barry's motion to approve.
Second.
Steve, second. If no changes or additions, deletions, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, very good. You have a copy of the financial statements for the month of July. First month of the 23-24 fiscal year. I did a quick overview as I was working on it with Linda, and everything seems to be on track. We're ahead of budget in water water revenue by and in the expenses, we are below budget. Also, just keep in mind, I was asking Glenn to just refresh myself, but the budget that we see on a month-to-month basis is basically 1/12 of the total budget. It's not prorated by month or whatever, so you would have some budget numbers in there for items that might come later in the year. So as we spend them. I didn't see anything that jumped out at me as being extraordinary expenses or anything unusual in there. For the water, also for the sewer budget, it also was had a budget in revenue, and in the expenses, professional and technical services was a little high this month. Also, maintenance and repair was a little bit high this month, above a monthly 12-month of the budget. Anything unusual there, Tim, that we had in maintenance, you recall, in that in the sewer?
And some of it we've already paid for the lightning strike that we had at the sewer plant. And
When was that? Last month, you're saying?
One of those storms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
and it smoked some stuff pretty good.
So I filed an insurance claim and just waiting on all the invoices
Right.
to turn it in.
And the cash for the month end was right in line with last year's same time frame, 913,000, I guess 919. So things are looking good in the financial end of everything at this point. So going down to the item 4 discussions. We beat the iron and copper survey up pretty good. but Tim, after the meeting, had some thoughts about some things that he could already had that he could be able to fill out a lot of these surveys with from information or in the Heights area and some of those other areas, he could get that information if it comes down to that.
Right.
Again, so, yeah.
Cause all that in the Heights, when we changed all the water mains, moved the mains from back to the front. We ran new water lines
So you can,
from
doc-
the meter.
you got that
all the way
documented.
to the house, so I
Right.
got all of that data, and then. All of this meter change out that we have done,
right?
then there's been. I've got all that data recorded, so we're gonna be fine. I really feel good about it.
Good. Well, it sounds like a serious administrative project. I'd be hired to, I'm to hire an intern.
Yeah.
If you can teach somebody how to interpret all that, I hate for you to do all that.
On the Kentucky Rural Water Association proposed rate study, they have come back and Glenda, update us with what you've been working with the guy on that with. So-
Yeah, Tim and I, it was funny, we hadn't. He just said, he was in my office, he was like, we haven't heard from him. And then I got an email, it's like he heard us. So, he was asking for some additional information and I sent it to him and he said that he was putting it in his model. And he did tell us that he would like to set up a time to come and present and it,
Right,
or for us to start thinking about a time.
right.
So Tim, he said, well, he thinks he would rather him come to present either to this board or present to the council even. I don't know, instead of just coming and presenting to us.
Remind me,
maybe
instead of
it'd
him
be better
coming-
to ask
Right. Instead of him coming and presenting it to Glenda and to me or
Dan or
and
whatever.
Dan or whatever,
or eyes and ears on it.
right? And that way, any questions that anybody has, he's the man to answer them, not.
What is the thrust of this? That he is supposed to tell us what out of this?
He's supposed to tell us where our water rates stand relative to the surrounding area so that we know whether we're on target, whether we're low, whether we're high.
Right.
And then we can use that data in evaluating projects
Right.
to see whether or not we can recoup the revenue off of it or whatever. So,
Well,
and we
in his
never have-
model, is he gonna put in that we're looking at a new water plant or reconstituting? the
I
one
don't
we
know
have?
that he will necessarily put in a new water plant. We can just take that data and apply it to that
Okay,
20 million or whatever the number is, 15 million and. Yeah.
I mean, he's just,
Or where we
he's
go.
looking at our cost, our production cost, he's looking at all.
Yeah. just a basic, that's good.
Right,
Yeah.
I think he would be factoring in what it needs to be. For our infrastructure.
right, right.
Like
Right.
maintain-
Or, I mean, I'm sure
That's all it
he's considering, or he's considering all of that. And I mean, it's, to my knowledge, it's the first one that we've had done outside of our previous general managers.
Not just doing the control.
Right.
Okay.
And I mean, this is,
It's more, it'll be more entailed than that.
It's like some- Can you send me a copy? We've heard that.
We're doing it. That's a good idea.
well, I mean,
Yeah, I would love to
Yeah.
hear this. Yeah, have it inviting.
Well, Tim and I wanted an independent.
right.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, you can use that in a lot of ways, get money.
And
Right, might help us with the PADD or is it PAD?
Certainly.
I would think. that-
Mhm.
could help us in a lot of areas to have that information in front of us.
Right,
I think it's a good idea to submit it to the council. I mean, we can,
Right.
any of us could attend if we wanted to.
right. You might
But
think about
that
it.
way you don't get, you
'Cause we
got
don't have
one
the power.
shot, everybody hear the same thing and then not the.
Right.
back and forth.
Yeah.
I agree.
And it's fine. Be glad to.
I'm sure there's gonna be questions
Oh, yeah.
that
we
I
would
can't
like the
answer
answer
that
to.
we would have to go back to him to try to get an answer. And
Mhm.
it's just short and sweet.
But that last email, he had 4 questions and he said, once you answer these. I think I'll be good. He said, then I'll be looking.
Sounds like it's not gonna be as long as they originally said in the book when we had the quote done.
Mhm.
Last Monday night at the city council meeting, they had the guy presented the project for the
River,
Haddocks Ferry.
yeah.
And it was done on Zoom, so I mean, it worked out very good, or if he wants to come here, we can sit with him, so. We'll work on that and see what Gene might want to do, but I think our recommendation would be to include the city council at the same time. That way that everybody will get the same word. It won't be a.
Right.
Like I say, if they want to ask questions, they can or whatever, so. We can see that. Okay. Okay. So let's work on. Okay, we've posted a job description, and to hire a employee. I don't know, last I heard, Tim said he had 2 or 3.
I think we've got 5 or 6 as of right now, and I think there's supposed to be some more tomorrow, I think, is what I heard.
Okay.
There was supposed to be a couple more that bring
There's
her
somebody
application,
that picked up an application without us.
Are these internal, Tim?
sir.
Do we have internal?
No.
Okay.
And do these people, we don't know yet, do they meet the requirement of living fairly close?
Don't have the, I don't, we haven't reviewed the resumes that much to
No,
know.
I
Just want to always wait until the cutoff period.
Do you remember that protocol? I don't know if they have to live
20
in,
minutes.
within 20 minutes, right? So they could be
Try
in Grand
20 minutes,
Rivers, but don't have to live in the county, but 20 minutes,
Right.
they just about do. They could live in Reedland.
Right.
Okay. It's about it, Livingston County, I guess.
Because that's the agreement that we've got with the state, so.
Yep, I remember we reviewed it, I think last time we were looking at this a little bit.
On, don't really know enough. That's about it on the applicants, just the fact that we've got them that are coming this direction and so forth, so we are picking up a few.
That's good.
What was the date we put August
The last day.
25th? Yeah, I think so.
So that's the cutoff.
Cutoff is August 25th, okay. Going through the projects, we got the first phase of the O'Reilly's line repair done. We now have phase 2, which we're referring to as the Oak Park repair.
I forgot that.
Yeah, I did
Instead of
too.
US 62. There'll be more Oak Park.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so Tim, why don't you share with us, we had originally thought that we were going to take the line that goes between the liquor store and the road there and move it out of their parking lot and move it over towards the, I guess it'd be the east. And then tie it in back that way, but Chad and Tim has looked at that and has a better idea, they think, and a little less expensive idea, maybe to.
It's gonna be a little more
relocate.
footage on pipe, but it's gonna be a whole lot less expensive because there will not be any board. It will all be the way that we're gonna go. in behind where we was gonna go. In the meantime of getting all the paperwork and everything done, there was an excessive amount of concrete that was poured. And in order for us to go that route, then it's gonna be expensive. So we're looking at moving it out. It'll be to the city's best interest in the long run to not even have a water line back there. We'll have to relocate 2 water services is all we're going to relocate, but the main will be clear. It'll be right out next to the road. It won't be going across nowhere like the original design. Like I said, it's gonna be probably no more than 150 more feet of pipe, but it's gonna be a whole lot cheaper to go the route that we're looking at versus the route we was going to.
We have easements,
So how
we
you
have
go-
legal rights to do all that, you're saying, you got it.
We'll be on the state right away, so we can blow and go.
I asked that because Greg went.
We don't need any legal advice, Bill.
In fact, there won't be any easement issues because we already have an easement there because we had an existing sewer force main that ran down through there that that sewer force main was never has not been in operation in years and never will be in operation. But we still had the easement, so we're gonna lay it right on the same.
Got
We're
it.
gonna take it out, put a water line in.
This is a corollary question. You've got a business there that used to be, physical fitness and rehab that's now become a, processing thing. Do they use more water, less water than they did before? Other than flushing toilets and stuff, but I mean, is there any water processed in there? Not much. Okay,
I mean, they use about the same as they always.
okay, just wondering.
So how you gonna go now? You're gonna go in front of Dairy Queen
Yes, sir.
and then,
Before it was going, we were still gonna be kind of in between the buildings, but we were going to. And we were going to be going in between the property that Andy Laws owns and Megafield. Now we're gonna move it out next to Oak Park, which will be out on the state right away, be out in front of Andy Laws' property. The tie-ins will be basically the same tie-ins. Like I said, we'll have to relocate 2 meters, but I'd rather relocate those 2 meters is to fight all that mess in between those buildings. And if anything was to ever go on the lot there that Andy Laws owns, then you was gonna end up with a major water main right in between 2 buildings, so we're gonna get it out in front of it.
Andy owns between Mega Fit and Oak Park. Is that okay?
There where the old driving range.
Yeah.
used to be. Yeah.
You gotta have gray hair to remember that.
Yeah, I remember the friends that worked there. I had a putt-putt course.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I sliced a bunch of them there.
so that's in, have you got a schedule on that or anything?
No, I don't.
Still waiting on Chad.
Correct.
I'm trying to think of is when we will get the money or have the money. We don't have the money for that. That was not in the prior budget, but it's in this budget.
Correct. Yes, we budgeted this phase of it. The other phase we didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, we budgeted that.
We
So,
budgeted this phase.
It's kind of amazing, our habits, so.
yep.
It's good.
But hopefully, we're fixing to start getting,
Yes, I had the first draw for the PD cloud. And we've already cash flowed like, I don't know, in the 40,000, whatever, we've already cash flowed that on engineering expenses and
we can
hadn't asked for any of the money, and that's a grant, you know, so. He just sent me the first draw. I thought the mayor would be here. I'm gonna get him to sign it so we can get, start getting some money back.
Mhm.
That would be nice.
It would.
On the PB cloud, that was next on the list there, had to do some re-easements because of the way things had been built out there on some of the property and so forth. And they were where they were gonna run the easements. We ran into Tim and Chad ran into a resident out there that owned property that indicated to them that they would not give us an easement to cross their property. They wanted nothing to do with city water on their property, and they did not want city water. So we had to go back again to the drawing board, and Tim went out and tell them what you did,
The
Tim.
last two easements were supposed to be signed this afternoon. I was hoping Chad would email me and let me know that they were signed. But the last two were gonna be signed this afternoon. If they are signed this afternoon, Monday, the project will go out for bid.
We had to reroute
Right.
the line again.
And it like, there you go again. It was adding a little more footage, but we're all right. We'll be fine.
Yeah, and so a lot more cost,
Right.
some cost.
Some cost.
Okay,
But it accomplishes the same.
Right. And I think it would really be better the way that we had to back up just a little bit for future, if there's another area down there that if it develops out, then it's going to make it that much better for,
it'll support
right,
that expansion.
right.
That'd be good.
And that's a grant, so we have the funds
Right.
for that one, for sure.
Where did we get that grant?
Pad orders.
Do what?
Got that for the pad.
Did we?
Yeah, some of the same money, yeah.
Right,
It was also a part of the county
Mhm.
money,
right. I remember the county had something.
the money that they got relative to that as well.
I got a question about that. I haven't been over there to look on the O'Reillys. Were you able to demo the old water line that crossed the ditch?
And I broke it in half.
I just didn't know if we were gonna have to tear that out or
Nope.
we just kind of leave it in place.
As long as I don't bring it out of the ditch. Asbestos water main, as long as you don't bring it out of the ditch, you can leave it in the ground.
Mhm.
If you bring it out of the ditch, then you have to go through the proper asbestos disposal. So, it just stays in the ditch.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, thank you for the mayor.
Over here.
No.
Yep.
Even,
Did I not see Northcutt's car out front?
no, he's on vacation.
He's supposed to left at noon, I think, is what he called
He
the
did.
hotel.
He called and he's on the road.
Where's he going?
Right there.
A pig.
August.
He's entering a pig in the state fair.
Has he got a pig or a pumpkin? I was up there last year and the Quarles was there at the pumpkin weigh in. That was quite the hoopla. Somebody else was Blair was sitting up
Blair
there.
Garrett. were up there.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, she-
Oh, usually always.
I think
Yeah, we
that's-
ran in the corner and there they were. I was like, yeah,
That's what we need to get, sell more water. They were talking about how much water those people use for those huge pumpkins, like 100 gallons a day or something.
Really?
Get more pumpkin farmers.
Yeah, that's right. Put in a word for us, G. You know, right?
these check marks on there and I thought it was like 15 minutes late. You know, look at this thing.
I think you're a little further along, right? We're down about right here. Tim said on PB Cloud that 2 easements supposed to have been signed this afternoon, and they should all be signed, ready to go to.
It's signed, we're gonna let her out for bids Monday.
I had on my list to call up there and talk to them, but I need to do that. It's already done.
On. Down here,
No, it would be Country Club Lane.
right.
That would be the,
I
that
got
would
your
be the
con- I
next
got
one
your
we're talking
contact
about.
too a while ago.
You got what?
I got the mayor's contact to contact at Frankfurt
Oh,
on this down here.
okay. So, on the water leak at Oak Park, and I'm still hung with my 7th Avenue being on there, but on the, it's actually 5th Avenue.
Oh, parking the Fifth
Yeah,
is the leak.
yes.
Is that before we stop?
Underneath that big hill going up to the apartments.
Church left, Memphis on the left, you're saying?
Yeah.
And the
This-
apartments on the right.
Car wash.
This is
Where
on
the
the
wash
car
was.
Where the old car wash used to be.
And that big hill behind it, it goes up to,
Oh, yeah, I got you. You look
Yeah.
kind of going to the country club. Okay.
they found the leak, and then Tim went and investigated, and in order to repair it, he would have to dig down 20 feet in that embankment up close to Lentz's apartments.
Yep.
And it's a safety hazard, and also possibility of damaging the buildings. So our good superintendent found a reroute. And he, since the main water main is now going down, further down East Fifth Avenue. He's going down to the entrance of the country club. And bore under and tie on to that main and reroute the line up to 2 places up there that it'll have to tie into.
So can you seal off the leak with a simple as a valve or something as you build something else, or is it more complicated?
Down on this end, there's a valve that will valve off.
Right.
And what I'm gonna do is. I'm gonna go ahead and set a fire hydrant right there on that valve. And that'll put a hydrant on the corner right there. And then on the other end, we'll just cut and cap the existing line that's coming through there
Right.
and leave it.
Okay.
This thing showed, it did show this one, well, that showed the mouse, but yeah, this one got it right.
Dan, we're not gonna get out early. I mean,
No, I guess not.
One of my earliest childhood memories was the old house up there at the country club, home site burning.
Old Smith Place.
Just a big old, they were parking golf carts, I think, in it. or
Yeah.
around it.
Me and
Yeah.
Michael went-
Ronald Smith's place.
And we went.
You
by
remember
and,
that, Bill?
Ernie was.
I don't.
wiring up
No,
there.
I wasn't in Calvert at that time.
But there is the wildest right of way width up there. It's crazy. And I don't remember when they flattened that road where Fifth extends. I know that must have happened at one time. I don't remember that obviously. But that right away, the road right away is huge there.
200 feet wide.
So it goes way out into the old car wash parking lot. And it, you got that cut with the trees up there, and there's a single street light up in there, and it's that wide. I mean, it goes up the hill. And so what he's proposed is when you drove through the town, you would think it would be routed the way we're going to route it.
Right.
Instead of the way that it is routed.
Well, there was no line there at that time, so they went the way they had to go. And it would have been, I mean, it would have been cheaper to make that then to make that one drill through there versus trying to drill from one end to the other.
Yeah.
Cause I mean, they would have drilled it off. Or tried to lay it as deep as they could get it, but it would still been tough.
Well, Lynn had that bank cleared out years ago.
Mhm.
And you know, I just,
Is that just a big old gravel?
Hill, one heck of a hill up there,
They said that,
where that church is set.
I think it was Roger Lentz that was telling me that. I guess right where Fifth Avenue is now. In between the Methodist church and there, that there used to be a big gravel pit right there. But he said he remembered riding motorcycles up there when he was a kid.
I remember riding in the place where the pickleball courts are now. That was the landfill. People used to ride around in there. I don't remember riding up on about there. But that's a wild layout where the right of way is right there. So, and it goes until about where the church driveway comes out. That where it stops.
Goes a little- It goes right past, it goes right to like where the property line is between the church and the parsonage property. That's where it changes back.
I don't know why it's that.
It's 100 foot from the center line. On both sides. From the center of Oak Park to Comfort Club.
But whoever said that about Lynn having cleared out, he just cleared the right away. And it was woods. It was a woods.
yeah, it was a wilderness on that bank.
Yeah, it was woods.
And they cleared it out and planted
And
it.
there
Looks
there was
good.
there was a street light up in the middle of the wilderness. And it's just gone.
Well, Lynn had all those trees on the north side of the Fifth. You remember there used to be a lot of trees in there and I thought they were on the country club. But he had those cleaned out and it made it look nice. You know, you still could hardly see the golf course when you got there.
So anyway, we got that. All right, in the budget for this year and is the halos for the sewer lagoons. I was kind of thinking as to when we needed to do this from a timing standpoint. We need to start getting quotes on what the cost of the materials would be, for the contractor to come in and I guess it'd be the line people that would put it in. When we want to do that, the sooner the better, because Tim's saying we're at risk of having to replace all of them pretty quickly.
I spoke with Chad today. About it. And he informed me that he had a meeting yesterday with. At Edward. That they are. He's putting them a package together on theirs. And he thinks that we can get a better price. To go ahead and get a bid package ready on it. And let's do them at the same, close to the same time that we could, he thinks that Edward and Calvert both can get a better price on material and labor. Because it's gonna be the same company. They won't have to mow twice. They can come one time and get both places and be done.
Does he need to do any engineering work on ours as
No,
far as
it's already been done.
it's already been done?
All he's gotta do is get us a bid package ready on it.
And Edible trying to do it soon too. Okay. As long as we're on the same
But we
page.
was talking about it today, and he said. He said, I'm glad that I said something about it because he had met with Edible yesterday. He said, doing theirs, he said, do yours same time. And so I think we can get a better price on. For both parties. They don't have to come at one time. And he said, we'll probably get a better price on material too, because. The more material that we can buy and have shipped this direction, and you probably get it cheaper. for it.
That's what, 40 mil?
Yes, sir.
Any issues on bidding? Terms of, the nature of this is just like a real specific thing. This is the company we're gonna use. Okay.
There's several. Installers out there, find out that material installers. He's a bit. I mean, how much do we budget for that?
I can't.
How we do on these last table chips that we have in running?
We didn't run over. And we didn't run over, we have not, we did not run over anywhere in the system.
Really?
That's expensive.
We got close, but we didn't.
That's pretty good, as much rain as we had. That's real good.
We really kind of need to train those things down for that table, right?
We will have to.
Yeah, I'll get there sooner or later. Yeah, no, no.
Yeah, we'll have to pump them down to
Halo,
lower
right
levels on to put the halo on.
150,000 is what we budgeted. I don't have the square feet footage or anything on there. That's
That is, I don't have my prints with me, but it's on,
That a good number, or is that gonna be skinny?
be close.
The two, is it two, your
Two
halo,
sail,
two,
yeah.
lagoons, yeah.
Do what?
There are two of those lagoons, is what they're halo.
You have to pump them down and then they will go in and weld them,
Right. What we'll do is
steam them or whatever they
Right.
call it.
to cut cost. We will rent a trencher. And I'll trench the trench around the top two sails. And then they'll put their liners in and we'll fill it back in. I'd rather do it. There's so much electrical, there's so much. And I know where everything is. I don't want to prove fixing a bunch of mess.
So that's where you're gonna tow it off on
Right.
the top, right? Yeah, okay. And then they will. About how wide is they're gonna be one width?
Will be 10, it'll
Is it-
get stuck down 10 and 15 foot in width on that roll. And I think we'll get by. I think we can be close enough that 15 foot will get us that's including our anchor ditch,
Yeah, anchor, that's what I was trying
Damn.
to think of.
because everything that's in the water that stays under the water is in good shape. I mean, I pumped them down and looked at them. I mean, they're good. It's what's out that's exposed to the sun and everything else is what's coming apart. What we're gonna do is pump them down and put that halo around the top. We'll leave what's there. And we'll just weld it right back over the top of what's existing and weld it at the bottom and it'll be done. Versus,
Now, how far down you gonna have to pump your water down because they're gonna be
I'll
down
have
there
to
with
go,
it.
I'll have to go way down with it.
Yeah, you have to go way down, keep them out of water.
Right. But I can still run them. It will be fine. Because I mean, I can run the plant with two sails out.
Yeah.
I didn't have the two sails to start with, so.
Yeah.
I can take two sails out and fix those two sails and bring it right back in operation.
You'll still meet your alcohol test.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you all agree we should proceed and try to tie in with edible?
Oh, it can be a better commercial situation.
I don't have any problem with it.
No, as long as we don't.
As
run
long as
any
we can
big
get the work
hiccups,
done in
yeah.
time.
Right.
That's,
Right, and I mean,
Makes sense.
this. This was in the original. On the sewer rehab work that we're doing
Yeah.
now at the plant, it was part of that package to begin with, and we pulled it out to try to. Speed things along.
Is it a part of the agreed order with the state or anything like that?
I don't
think it was.
think it's part of the agreed order.
But you just see it as a long term, we got to
Right.
take care of this now, or it's gonna be a problem later. I'm with you. No, I don't have a problem with you trying to work it out with.
Do they make a better UV resistant material that would be good just for the halo since it's exposed?
They do. But what you. We'll check and see,
May
but
not
there's
be
so many different of those materials that's not compatible with the
to weld
other
it together.
material, they won't weld to them.
Yeah,
And I mean, we'll just have to see. I had thought about at one time, because of the tops is what. The tops is what eats you alive.
You know, wear it down.
And I thought about. Going to white instead of black. But. I'm afraid with the sunlight reflecting off of the white into the lagoons, that it's gonna make our algae bloom that much more.
Different dynamic. Not sure.
And Chad, and I talked to Chad about it, and he said, yeah, probably. He said, he said, it makes sense, but he said, I'm with you. He said, I think that with the light reflecting off the white into the edge of the water, that it's going to create a algae bloom, and then you'll have problems on your total suspended salt.
You know, environmental science consultant on that one, probably.
Yeah, I didn't think about the white. Sometimes they'd use whites on our liner down in the bottom, but I don't know. Not, we don't use it up high.
Right.
That's something we need to take to city council.
You already have it in your budget.
It's in the budget.
Right.
I wouldn't think so, but I mean.
We just need to, it was $150,000. I don't know exactly how we're gonna make it as an end with the edible bid. And make sure that we award it at the same time, because they're gonna have to do their thing, we're gonna have to do our thing.
Right.
The vendor's gonna have to understand and coordinate that. It's gonna be. Rightfully so, they're gonna be separate jobs.
Right.
They will be separate jobs.
Right.
The timing is what gets us a discount,
Right.
so you're letting the projects contingent upon the other one go. To the
Right.
commitment from the vendor.
Right.
So we're gonna have to work through that.
Right.
And with that big a job, we're not gonna try to single source it, are we?
No,
Okay, so you put it out there for bids and quote.
right,
So that one company could say, hey, I'll do it for this contingent, I get the other job, they can answer the quote that way.
Right.
That's what I think that we did.
Right.
I mean, we're gonna do it.
Sure, you know, it's probably edible.
You got your job, McCann's got the job spec'd out as far as calling materials and all that kind of stuff.
right. Yeah, it's already been done.
So we just need to check with Edible and see when they're gonna put theirs out.
Right.
And obviously, he's working on edibles, right? So he
Yes.
can coordinate.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we talked about earlier, but yeah, so,
He's putting their package together right now.
yeah. We should put one of us together and the vendors can, one vendor would find value for recruitment, it, maybe more than one vendor might find value for recruitment. Gosh. So, Where they traveling out of?
One's out of St. Louis and one's out of South Carolina.
Okay, there you go. Average travel expense.
Mhm.
Right, you should have getting a crew to Grid County.
And also you could also track clean air and water too. It's another source.
But we got in the budget, it's work that needs to be done, we should get on this, I guess.
Well, I mean, it's gonna end up costing us more than that if we don't.
Yeah, that's the only concern is if it complicates, it messes up our timeline. You know, it's my only concern. Edel's gonna want theirs done first and we're gonna want ours done first. And somebody's may fall behind.
What's execution time?
So
What do you think the execution time is?
How long was that?
Once you get started on.
they can be done with ours in less than a week.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's, yeah,
I mean, that stuff it goes down pretty quick.
and I can't imagine Edel's taking a whole lot longer. It's just a moment.
Having this linear feet with them. Yeah, they can put them. They can weld those things in a lot in a day.
Yeah.
I assume they do a destructive test, weld test. don't
Yes,
they?
sir.
Okay, all right, so Tim, you gonna follow up that then?
Yes, sir.
All right, then I put this on here for me and you, really, this rent increases. Have we raised the rents to?
No, I wondered, Tim and I discussed that and I said, well, I'll put it on there, but I don't know what he means.
Well, we got rents for rail service.
Oh.
For that and
Oh, and they-
we went 5 years and didn't do any rent increase and I think we had some, is there another one? Seemed like there was
Yeah, but I
another.
don't think it's a file, but I'll look at it.
That's the only reason I put it on there. It just,
You were thinking about
they,
Is that the one, did we say we're gonna do something annually or?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went through it.
Put it on my phone
I
calendar.
remember you figured out how we were gonna increase it. It somehow.
Yeah, we had some, we got some documentation, don't we?
I'll look at it.
That'd be good.
Who
Break
knows?
that out.
Carrie and them may already be on it and got it done, but
Yeah.
it just hit me and I thought, let's put it on there and ask
Good.
about it. Cause we.
Rail services. Yeah, I
it slipped
remember
through the
we
crack.
let that kind of go.
Oh, the other one wasn't there something with the power plant? Wasn't there a rate increase or something with the power plant,
With Duke.
Duke Energy? Yeah,
EVA now.
DVA.
I calculate that one. When I do the rate increases, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Okay. That's the only reason I put it on there.
Well, let's hit the other one is, you know, don't we have some type of CPI that we look at every year or have our rates changed for local customers?
Oh, yeah,
and
that gets
plants?
changed automatically.
TVA ones.
Yeah, but
When is that? When we do that?
Which one?
The rate increase?
I do it in- I calculate it in December and then
Okay.
it goes into effect in June.
So
Okay,
that one has to go in front of council. No?
It's ordinance.
It's ordinance now?
It's by ordinance.
it's ordinance, yeah.
and so with, yeah,
We report to them on what it is, but it's by ordinance.
and given inflation this year, I'd say it'll go up. We're still at 3%. I don't know what the index we're using, but I'm sure it'll,
All the indexes have changed. No, I'm serious. I was using a set of government indexes and I went to use them here recently, I think.
They changed them all.
Or different sets of CPI indexes that we have been using for a while. That product's no longer offered by the Fed. Change the definition of what that particular index was. I appreciate that. I'm still stressed.
Got election coming up, got changed like
It's
things.
about 2 years ago. Go grab it.
Oh, you want to tell us about the big tree, Tim? Over on the pathway in Dustin Brown's property or wherever that is over there?
Back there on the sewer right away. On the interceptor line that comes from Road and Camelot, but now you've got about half of your city sewer that comes through that line. There's a big oak tree, 5.5, 6 foot through, that the lightning has hit. And it split it from top to bottom. And it's sitting about 4.5 feet from a manhole. The base of it is. And I'm afraid that if the wind uproots it, that it's going to bring manhole and all out of the ground. And all day. Tree service about coming over there and taking it down, and he gave me a price on it. And we're going to take it down. I mean, if it uproots it and it does damage to the manhole, which I know it's going to block off half the city sewer until we get it out. And it's about that sewer main right there, is about 25 foot deep. If you get a big chunk of concrete down in the bottom of it, we'll go, we're going to.
Where's the tree?
Right in the cut of where the line comes through behind Pathway Church.
Yeah,
And where Dustin Brown lives,
think so.
right where his backyard joins, where that cut that goes through.
Whose property is now?
I guess that's Dustin's. I mean, where the tree is actually at, I'm not sure whether it's on Dustin's property or whether it's on Pathway. I do know it's on our easement.
Okay,
So the point is, it's on our easement.
yes,
The city funds not being. For any particular favor.
No,
good.
There's a reason for it.
Yeah, I mean-
Yeah, he told the council about last week, and that's a sensitivity, make sure.
I'm with you.
I mean, I told you.
Was it hit this summer or something you're saying? Yeah. We've had some weather.
It's a big old tree.
I saw it.
Anybody buy it? Have a
I know.
sale value?
If somebody wanted to play games, make a tabletop out of it. You know, do that whole boxing thing that's so popular now, and take fans off, and take them a slide out of it. It's been in my life. I know harder about it.
When they say.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing that we can do here, we got discussion about the board member, we'll go through that first. And go to executive session.
Yeah, I do have two issues. Around the sewer plant, we had some work done. And it was not done correctly. And we had two parties that said it's their fault. And they said, no, it's your fault. Or is it still ongoing?
That's one of the two issues that we talked about. in executive session.
Thank you. Number two, just last meeting, we talked about Speedway. And that we were gonna bill them for several things. How's that come along?
Carrie has been in discussion with them.
They paid the back bill.
I think I heard her on the phone today. But
Carrie
I
is
know
say
she-
remind me,
I
Carrie.
don't, that's as far as I know to tell you,
Okay.
is I do know they did pay the back bill.
Good, okay. Oh, those are my only issues. Just want to know some updates on those things.
We had talked, Mayor, about having this, we talked about this report we're doing on the cost rates that we might want to present that to the council.
Process.
Yeah, so everybody could hear the same thing at the same time. I get your feeling on that.
some report on what.
On this
Like
lake,
you rule
About the
This
Water
rate
Rural Water
survey.
Association
Right.
effect is.
rather than just coming to
Ready
the
come.
water board and,
No, that makes sense.
yeah, just, we can
He said he
attend.
had it ready Because I'm just
When do you-
sending
when do
the
you
list
expect it?
information he's asked. I'm not sure. He said he would get with us, but he said then he wanted us to start thinking about a time for him to come and present.
I think we'd like to know how long the presentation would take and decide whether
Correct.
we want to have a people joint meeting. Or whether we do it at a regular council meeting.
Right.
But Tim brought it up that he was like, yeah, I think it'd be great if he's here. If anyone has questions,
Mhm.
he can answer.
Because I mean,
Oh, I think so, yeah, I think it'd be a point of great questions, that's the point. Very good idea, I think. We'll just make sure that it works out from the time frame line. And that's the duration of the presentation, but yeah, I mean, the city council needs to hear that.
right,
If we all attend that at the same time, is that, we have to call ourselves into order or anything for that?
It would be,
That
if
present-
we're all together, it's gotta be a meeting,
Right.
but I
I'll
mean,
be there.
So it'd just be a joint.
be a special call meeting of
special call meeting,
Okay.
So the problem is that all the city council comes here, it's a council meeting and a water meeting, so all the water boards there is both.
Okay. Good.
I mean, we got it televised and you got minutes of each, and I
Yeah.
don't know how the clerk works your magic.
I would have minutes for both.
she does.
Good deal.
She's a multitasking person.
It's a really good idea, everybody to hear the same thing.
Yeah, Bill, you got yours?
It's covered. Thank you.
Michael, you good?
I'm good.
I'm good.
You good, Barry?
Okay,
Okay, so Linda,
Open Meetings Act. Permits a public agency, which we are, the KRS 61.8151A says we gotta have a motion and a second in here, and we can do it. For a list of reasons, which I have from the AG's book thing, so there's a whole list of reasons. And there's two topics, which we'd like to discuss that are covered under the Public Meetings Act. One would be. Discussions, that's item G in this paragraph, discussions between a public agency and a representative of a business entity. And discussions concerning a specific proposal. Development discussions would jeopardize the siting, retention, expansion, or upgrading of the business. That's one that I would request that we do, so we can give that a say. And the second one is, where are you?
I think it's C.
C. Discussions of proposed or pending litigation involving a public agency. So those would be the reasons why we would go into an executive session, and it's protected under that specific. Quoted KRS. For open meetings, we can do that. So if I'd like to, need a motion and a second and a vote.
I move we have the executive meeting session. and
Second.
Based on those reasons.
Steve,
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
let me stop.
So you need to leave.